Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Julie K here with a thrift store haul, and it's mostly junk journal related. So if you're into junk journals, stick around and watch the rest of the video. But I had some really awesome finds at the thrift store the other day. And the first, one of the first things that I was really excited about is this huge pile here. So you can tell it's pretty chunky. This whole pile I got for $2.50, and it's all sheet music. And vintage, it's old, it's falling apart, so I'm hoping to scan a lot of it in, because I think a lot of it is in the public domain. Some of it isn't, but I'll just use those on other projects. But I was really excited because the sign up in the back of the thrift store said sheet music, it's like $1/4 each, and so I was willing to pay that because I thought that was a great deal. But my question had been, when I went up to ring it up at the front register, was in some of these folders there's a whole bunch of different stuff, and it's not necessarily the whole song is in there, just pieces of the papers. So I was I had gone up to ask what how much they were, or if these folders were more, because there was more music, but they weren't full sheets of the whole songs. And the lady's like, you can have it all for $2.50 if you want. And I'm like, yep, I'll take it. But I'm just going to show you a couple of the highlights. I'm not going to go over every sheet because there's just too many. But a lot of them I picked out just because of the titles of the sheet music. But this one I thought was really cool. Dance of the Poppies. Really cute. I think this would be fun to shrink, scan in and shrink down and make into a journal card or a tag or something. So that one was really cool. This one also had some titles from here that sounded like here's one, The Hummingbird's Lullaby. And there's some that sounded like they could be for Halloween. But it looks like because I did a little bit of research already on some of these, just because I was curious if they were in the public domain or not. But they came from like some sort of magazine or something that was published that was called, of course you're not going to be able to read it on this one, but called the Etude. And so you can see the music has a copyright date down here, but then you can also see when it was published in the magazine. Like that one was January 1924. But lots of fun ones. This one, like I said, was probably the one I was the most excited about, was this cover of this one right here. So that one was really cool. And let's see, this one, they had this one called In the Springtime. Just more music in that one. And then this one was kind of fun. This one isn't in the public domain yet, but there's no business like show business. And then Annie, Get Your Gun. It just was kind of a fun one. And then a Christmas one. And then along with that Etude magazine, they had like kind of graded course studies. So there's information about, playing the piano in them. But there's a cover of one of them. And let's see, like this one I thought was cool, The Song of the Thrush, just because I do like birds, and that is a bird that we do have singing here in Minnesota. This one was kind of cool too, The March of the Goblins. You can see the little goblins on that one. I picked up quite a few that were like this, just kind of the cover sheets, and the music are in there. But just lots of good stuff in here. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I was really excited about that find for $2.50. If I would have known that she was giving me the whole stack for $2.50, I probably would have picked up more of them. I picked up all the ones in the folders that were really old, but she had some other sheet music too that I maybe would have picked up if I would have known. I would have gotten the whole thing for $2.50. And then I also found a lot of really cool books. Really cool books. That I want to share with you guys. And these ones are all really old. A lot of them are before 1923. But this one, I don't know if it's going to show up very well, but it is kind of an embossed cover with a really intricate design on it. And that one's just essays by Emerson, though, so this was Ralph Waldo Emerson, the poet, or whatever. So it's essays by him in that book. This one was really cool, The Eldridge's Business Speller. And it just had, you know, different spelling words and what they mean in there, so it's almost like a dictionary. But very cool. This one was called Brewster's Millions. And I like this one just because the cover, it almost looks a little bit steampunk on there. So maybe for a steampunk type journal. And this one's called Old Mamselle's Secret. And I just picked this one up. I just like the look of the cover of that one. Picked up this one, English Literature. Nice design on that side. But there are some pictures in this one and just some information about literature from way back when. This one's a Shakespeare, The Tempest. I think that was Shakespeare. But just nice one, that one. And then this one was kind of interesting. This one's called Waverly, and I really liked the cover on that one. But this one actually, for those of you who follow the Outlander books or TV series, this actually takes place during that time frame. The characters obviously aren't the same, but when I did a little research on it, I thought that was kind of interesting. So I think I actually might go back and read this one. See, I did find this one called The Little Ladies. And it's illustrated. You know, it's probably a young adult type book. Or what constituted a young adult type book way back when. See, this one is not old, but it was made to look old, and I just liked the cover, so I picked it up. But it's called A Puzzling Pair, and it was based on an old book from 1898, but it's just a newer edition, so the pages are fine, and then there's some extra freebie ephemera and some of this stuff that I picked up. I thought this one was kind of neat. Sonnets from the Portuguese, which is Elizabeth Barrett Browning. She has a lot of nice poems out there, like How Do I Love Thee, Let Thee Count the Ways. That's her stuff. But here's a book. And this one is not in the public domain because it's from like the 50s or something like that. But just nice book, and I really like the cover, and it has all of our sonnets in there. So I picked that one up. And let's see, the last book that I picked up that was really cool was this Shakespeare one. Really, really cool. And it's all of his poetical works. And some of the pages were missing, so I had to do a little research on it to see when it was published, just because I didn't know on that one. But it has a lot of his stuff in there, so very, very fun book. And then the last couple little miscellaneous things that I picked up at the thrift store. They had these little wedding accents, embellishments, and I do a lot of card making and different projects, and so for $1, these are really cheap, so I picked those up. Then they had some vintage lace or trim that was really pretty that I picked up. So all this was on this little card here, but there's some actual lace in here. And then some more blue and white trim. But I picked up this whole thing for 10 cents. So hard to pass up when you get stuff for that price. And they did have one little doily that I picked up for, that was $1. And I don't know, I'll probably end up, just because it's kind of kitty wampus, so I don't know if someone was just learning how to make it, but I probably will just cut apart the pieces and use the pieces in this one. And then the last thing I picked up was they had a whole bunch of like kind of satiny type material in the remnant section for a quarter. That I like to make some of those shabby chic type flowers. And when you can pick stuff up for a quarter to play with, you can't really go wrong. So that is my little thrift store haul. Like I said, it was mostly junk journal related. But thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a wonderful day.